How's it going, everyone? It is Drago. We're back with another chapter of Fairy Tale 100 Year Quest, chapter 104, Blue Dimension. The cover page for this chapter has Urza Scarlet on it. And honestly, the first vibes I get from seeing this cover, I just think like it's Urza, like in the Bleach universe. She decided to be a Soul Reaper. But no, it's actually kind of cool seeing her in like the kimono or whatever, slashing at a dude. We pick up our chapter seeing the aftermath of Lucy's fight. And you see Lucy and Kira both on the ground. Which, I mean, Lucy's just like knocked out, but like Kira is like really dead. Which in the meantime, you have Loxus being snapped out of the spell that Kira put him under. Which he has no memory of what happened during that fight. And he's like, what the heck's going on here? But luckily enough, he has Virgo with him to tell him what's going on, which instead of helping Loxus, Virgo takes this opportunity to try and get Loxus to punish her. I love that she takes the opportunity to be like, okay, when you couldn't remember anything, you were clearly spanking me, so like, you want to continue? And Loxus is not buying any of that. He's like, no, I wouldn't be doing that. One of Fairy Tail's strongest members here is finally giving Lucy the credit she deserves, saying that the enemy must have had crazy skill and that Lucy got really strong, which I quite like the panels of Loxus congratulating her. Even Lucy taking that victory, like gosh dang, she looks really beat up. So we go over to a different part of the labyrinth and we pick up with Natsu and Suzaku, which Natsu turned into quite the crabby boy because he's upset that he can't find Ignea. Which Suzaku's like, why can't you just track him by your smell? Like, you've encountered him before, so like, can't you just follow him? And Natsu first starts off by saying that, he can't even smell him at all. But then the smells that he can smell kind of smell too similar to Igneel. Which, wondering why Natsu's being a little bit grumpy about talking about Igneel. His quote is, Igneel the Fire Dragon, been a while since I talked about him. So while they're talking about Igneel and is Ignea really Igneel's son, they get interrupted by Happy, which he immediately goes to give Natsu a hug. Natsu's giving Happy a lot of credit here because he's like, oh, this is bad. I thought Lucy would be safe with you, Happy. And like Suzaku's like, he's just a cat that can fly. What the flip was he gonna do? Which Happy's on the bandwagon of Lucy's fine. We're good. So we go away from Natsu, Suzaku, and Happy, and we go back to Urza fighting Mikasa. I freaking love it when, you get scary Urza and like the rest of the guild mates are like, yeah, we're not interfering with this. Because Gajiel and Gray are just in the background like, oh man, I was worried about the heat. But then we got like Urza in bloodthirsty mode, which this is even more of, yeah, you don't step in when Urza tells you to stay out of it. Which he goes into the Blackwing armor, which it is really weird to see Urza in that armor with short hair. And Mikasa is like, oh, so you're underestimating me, huh? You think you can take me on solo and win? But of course it doesn't really matter because I'll take you on all at once and you'd still all lose. Urza and Mikasa must both be letting off a lot of magic power because Gray is saying that, these two squaring off right now is like Loxus and Gildart's about to square off. So Mikasa accepts that 1v1 and she starts this battle by targeting Urza, saying that she'll have 5 seconds to finish her off. What she starts to do her spell on Urza and Urza starts to disappear, which Gray and Gajiel in the back like, what the heck's going on? Urza gets transferred to another dimension that Mikasa calls her blue dimension, which is limited just to Mikasa and Urza. And Urza is unable to do anything, she's just floating around. She says that her legs have no strength. And while Urza is fumbling around, Mikasa is attacking her with an attack called Blue Stream, saying that her power in this world is absolute. And with the hit of that attack, Urza gets sent back into their dimension and reappears for Gajiel and Gray. And they're like, what the heck's going on? Like, she just teleported back and now she's all beat up? What the heck? And as Urza is starting to get up from that attack, Mikasa's like, okay, another 5 seconds, let's go. And Urza gets teleported back into the blue dimension and attacked yet again. And Mikasa starts to lay out what her magic is. That 5 seconds in her blue dimension is equivalent to 5 hours in the real world. That a mere 5 seconds of damage becomes 5 hours of torture and all the damage with it. So Urza gets sent out again after that 5 seconds and she's really beat up, bleeding all over the place. Gajeel and Gray immediately go help her, and Mikasa straight to the friggin' point, because she's like, okay, Urza's done, which one to use next? I mean, we'll see where this goes, but it's kind of cool to see Gray and Gajeel trying to come up with a battle strategy against this chick. So if we get teleported to that other world, we're done for. So what are we going to do to defeat her? And just as they're about to start attacking, someone in the background is yelling, wait. And it turns out Urza is not done for, and that she told you that she would be enough. Are you really going to stand up to Urza when she said she's still going to be enough? Even though she's bleeding out like crazy, Gajeel and Gray are trying to stop her, but Urza... Which Mikasa looks really stumped that Urza got up from this. She's like, well, I didn't expect you to recover from that. Very interesting indeed. Now she's ramping up from 5 seconds to 24 seconds, which would be equivalent to a full day's worth of torture. Which, gosh dang, Tartaros must have did something real special to Urza, because she's like, one day, that's pretty lenient. I've gone for multiple days worth of torture. Like, one day, that's nothing. Mikasa isn't up for that sass, because she's like, I'll shut that mouth of yours. So she takes Urza back into the blue dimension, and she's getting ready to attack Urza with the attack blue stream. And as she's doing that attack towards Urza, Urza actually dodges it, saying that the mistake she made was using the same magic twice, which Urza came up with a pretty creative solution to her problem of being unable to move in that dimension. Since her body couldn't move, she was using her armor to move her instead. So she's in the Heaven's Wheel armor, and she attacks Mikasa with the Heaven's Wheel Scattered Petal. I know her attack is labeled differently on this panel, but when it was translated out into English, that's what it was, the Scattered Petal move. And she got Mikasa royally mad, and that is the end of our chapter. So my thoughts. I guess let's first go into Mikasa'S magic here with the blue dimension. Her magic very much reminds me of Obito and Itachi from Naruto. The Obito side of things, I think, is her obviously taking Urza and herself to a different pocket dimension, very similar to the ability Kamui from Naruto. And then the Itachi side of things, he had a genjutsu in Naruto to where, if he looked at you, he could make you feel 5 years of pain in just 1 second. Which that's what it seems like she's doing. She's taking basically 1 second of pain equals 1 hour in the real world. I mean, obviously she's not down for the count, and I wonder if this damage is reflective to her, because Urza landed a pretty good hit on her, so this is a full day's worth that she's doing right now. That would, translate to a full day's worth of sword attacks. With how Urza is so adamant about this being a one-on-one, I really doubt Gray and Gajeel will get involved, but it'd be really cool if they did. It wouldn't surprise me if she took a few more hits if she just requested for their help. Otherwise, Natsu and Suzaku are doing their own thing, so who knows who they're going to run into. I think the moment with Loxus and Lucy was very nice. It was cool seeing Loxus praise Lucy. Otherwise, what did you guys think of the chapter? I think we're getting into a very interesting fight between Urza and Mikasa. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and this is Drago, signing out.